So a 32-yard attempt, slightly to the left side of the center of the field.
We're here. What's the Line podcast?
Is no good. It was wide right.
We're live. What's the Line podcast? Week 13. Just getting ready, prepping. That's what we do. Got my guy Rome.
Ready to go,
ready. Rome's watching the Maryland State Championship. Shout out Flowers High School. Get it done. Just win, baby. Just win.
Wish I could be watching Mount St. Mary's, but ESPN.
Oh, really? Are you? Wow.
No, I said I wish I could. ESPN Plus.
Wow.
Won't even let me watch it. Talking about a blackout. What are you talking about, a blackout? What are you talking about? You just said I could watch it. That's why I got it.
It's all right, Ron. We're going to get through it, man. NFL Week 13. What's the Line podcast? We are in the building. Pick and roll this week. Did I just send that somewhere? No, I didn't. All right. Oh, paste. No. We're in the building. Week 13. What's the Line podcast? Me and Rome running the pick and roll. I'm meticulous Mark P. Shout out those Jaguars last week, Rome.
Yeah. Are we live? We ready to go?
We are live. I mean, I haven't started the official for the audio, but we're definitely live right now. What's the Line podcast, week 13?
How about those Jags? I mean, we like that all week, though.
Sports betting.
Went over as well. Jumped on that late, too.
You did jump on that late. No, you didn't. I don't think you gave that out on meticulous, but
I did.
Did you? I don't remember you getting out there. I feel like you got it. I don't know. I don't really.
You said, are you off the Bears? And I was like, yeah, I'm off that. But I was on the Jags.
I respect it.
Jags ain't over.
Week motherfucking 13. I've been dropping hella F-bombs lately, but it's all right. It's just a curse word. All right. Week 13, What's the Line podcast. We are live, so let's get it started. And we're back. Andy Up Consulting presents What's the Line podcast, week 13. I'm your host, the meticulous Mark P. Back once again, and we are running the pick and roll, second week in a row, Rome. Just picking, we just give and go, pick and roll. It is what it is. How you feeling there, Rome? Week 13, another winning week last week.
Another winning week. That's 6 weeks in a row. Staying sharp. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, let's keep it rolling.
Right there at the top. Come on.
All right, yeah, no doubt. I'm just tweeting out.
Come on, right there. Jump right into the garbage. Right there.
Yeah, I'm not even.
Steelers Falcons.
All right, Steelers Falcons, Rome first because I don't have a best bet just yet. I think I do, but we'll go through the slate. Best bets at the end of the pod, but yeah, the Steelers are laying 1 at this point at the Falcons. Look ahead, Falcons were laying the 1.5 some places. Total of 42. Steelers 81, 86, and 4 against the spread, non-division games under head coach Mike Tomlin. The Falcons 14 and 23 against the spread as a home team since 2018. Ron, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think this game's garbage. So I think if you want to touch this game, go for it. I know some, people are attending this game because it's obviously a big game in terms of Steelers fan base, but I don't have, I don't have nothing for this game. I'm not laying it with the Steelers on the road, and who wants to sit and have 3 hours of misery with the Falcons who, want to run the ball on third down and forever. They just run the ball. That's all they do. Winning, losing, they don't really care. They just Falcons, I don't know what they're doing, so I can't really bet them or against them right now.
Yeah, fair. I really got nothing for this game. I lean Falcons. Should be noted. Steelers though. Last 8 games with T.J. Watt on the field have forced an interception. Cashed in on that on Monday night against Matt Ryan. I figured the pressure would get to him, but yeah, I don't know if Mariota throws the ball enough, so they will have to be down in that order. But if we do see them down, the Falcons down, they have to throw the ball.
They're not going to throw it. They're not. We've seen it. Let's go to the next game. I'm so sick of this offense, bro. I'm so sick of it. It's the same offense he was running in Tennessee. Now he's in Atlanta, running that team into the ground, running the ball. I don't know what Arthur Smith is doing, bro. Next game.
All right, next game. We're gonna go to the the Packers are laying 3 in the hook. Total of 44.5 at the Bears. Looks like both starting quarterbacks are gonna be healthy. Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields. Talk to me, Ron. How you feel about this game?
Yeah, this is a blind best bet. Best bet of the week. Bears under 44.5. I know we said best bets at the end, but this right here is my best bet. Bears have gone over 7 straight weeks in a row. I look for that to end this week. Last week, the total was 38. They went over. It was 41 points scored. The week prior, they went over against Atlanta. Blah, 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 so forth, so forth. They've gone over 7 straight weeks. I look for that to end this week. Justin Fields or no Justin Fields. Best bet under.
All right, Rome likes the under in that game. Best bet under the 44.5. I lean with the Bears plus the points. Really not going to be. I don't think it's going to be a play for me. Not at this point of the week. I haven't reached my Friday or Saturday night rant yet, so we'll see how that goes. As that's been successful for me this year. But yeah, I lean the Bears, and Rome has the best bet on the under in that game. Keeping it moving around. Couple teams laying 7 on the road. Browns laying 7 points at the Texans.
Yeah.
The Texans that I was on last week, man.
Oh my goodness, that was so painful.
It was painful. It was painful, and it was fun. And then it
wasn't fun. It wasn't fun.
It was a little fun.
For context, we had the Texans plus 14
Yep.
on Sunday. I know some of you are probably like, why would y'all do that? Well, because we talk too much, honestly, and we were on the phone on Sunday morning, and line got up to 14. We talk about football numbers, or at least I do all the time on this podcast. Football numbers: 3.5, 7, 10.5, 10, 13.5, and 14. We saw the line get up to 14. Long story short, we just pulled the trigger just because it got up to the line. The Texans suck. They lost by 15 points. They didn't cover. It was painful.
They pushed. They closed at 15. So
we didn't have them at 15. We had them at 14. And that shit was painful.
I'm sure didn't. I seen it go up. Like, damn it.
Yeah.
But all right. The Browns are laying 7 at Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson, first game for the Browns, returning back to his old team, the Houston Texans. Total of 47. Ron, what do you think about this game?
For the first time, or for a time in which I don't often do, I'm going to take Drew Paris' advice here, and I'm just not going to bet bad teams. I don't have to bet this game, and I'm not going to. I'm not betting the Texans. I'm not betting the Browns. Next game.
All right. Browns but the Seahawks laying 7 at the Rams as well. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, so I think that's a very interesting game. Rams obviously showing like their season is basically done. Talk about football numbers. Here's a Seattle team laying 7 on the road against the Super Bowl champs, and I think that's why that number might be a little enticing. But I mean, the Rams are as bad as advertised. I think we saw it last week. Some of the frustration that they were having on the field. Defense is not good. Jalen Ramsey has not played well at all. And I think they understand that their season's over. So that's the good thing about week 13 and kind of here we are going forward. The rest of a lot of these games are kind of just going to be stay away games. If you want to be a degenerate and bet every game on the slate after week 12, week 13 in pro football, be my guest. But I'm not going to do it. I'm shifting my priority to other sports, college basketball and whatnot, because you don't have to bet these games. Texans, Browns. You don't have to bet that game. We talk about the Seahawks, Rams here. The Rams suck. They're catching a football number. I'm pretty sure the public is going to be on the Rams. I think some of the sharps are also going to be on the Rams. because they don't, so I don't really want to touch that game. Weird 7. We'll see where that line closes.
Yeah, no Aaron Donald this week for the Rams. It was 5.5, and that was one of the games I was looking at potential best bet, but no.
I mean, why bet on a team where you don't even know who the quarterback is? I mean, you bet on Bryce Perkins or
yeah,
what?
he's
Who are
the
you betting
quarterback.
on?
He's the quarterback.
So I mean, it's at that point, I don't think anyone has a real handicap in terms of like what they can, expect from him coming out there. So why bet it? I'll leave it alone. Next game.
All right, next game on the board. This is the one I gave the fun fact out for this week. Vikings are laying 3 at home versus the New York Jets. Total of 44.5. Give out some stats. Jets 10-8 against the spread non-division games under head coach Robert Saleh. Vikings 14-24-2 against the spread after a win since acquiring Kirk Cousins. Ron, what do you think about this game? Vikings laying 3, total of 44.5.
I mean, I've been saying all year, I think the Vikings are going to win the North. I think that's almost a formality at this point. But as much as I expect them to win their division, I still think there's a little bit of flukiness to the Vikings. And I honestly didn't feel that way earlier in the season, but kind of towards the Buffalo week and weeks after. New England kind of shit the bed last week on Thanksgiving. Some people might not have been paying attention, but they had control of that ball game. They lost the game to the Vikings. So it's just like, I think the Vikings, as much as I've been big on them, I actually think they're overrated now, kind of where they're at. I'd be more inclined to catch the 3 with the Jets. At least I know what I'm getting with the Jets. Mike White definitely turns that offense into a completely different offense. And then you obviously get the defensive aspect with Robert Saleh and what that defense has been able to do this year. Jets have basically looked solid against every team except New England. You take those 2 games from New England off, I mean, they're 7-4. They're whatever in 2. If you take those New England games off, this team is not losing against bad teams or beating the teams they're supposed to beat, and then obviously beating teams that they aren't expected to beat. And that's why we're sitting at the Jets already cashing their season win total at 7-4. Why stop here? I'll play the Jets +3. That's definitely a strong lean for me on the 1 p.m. slate.
Yeah, I think Jets are the right side on this one as well, especially when you consider the Vikings have a real home field advantage. So they're pretty much saying,
I mean, yeah, they're saying this is an even team. This is an even game. I mean, the Vikings have one of the better home field advantages in pro football. We give about 2.5 points to teams like the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Saints, places in which, the fans can really make an effect on the game. So the Vikings are up there. So you give them 2.5 points. The line is 3. You take away those 2.5 points. That says the Vikings are basically a half point better than the Jets on a neutral. I'll take my 3 points with the Jets on the road.
Yeah, I think that and I've hit my last 2 total plays, one in college basketball, which been a bloodbath for me the last day, yesterday rather. And I also hit a total last week in NFL. I think this game has potential going over the 44.5. They don't give you hooks for free. But I think that I know that the Vikings sneaky worst passing defense in the NFL right now, 32nd in the league. So they give it up. We've seen that this Jets team has the offensive weapons, has the guys. We saw Mike White throw the ball in his 2
Mike White did it last year in his 3 starts.
Exactly right. He's been able to do it in the starts, throw for a lot of yardage. Mike White has. So I lean towards his over. I like the over 44.5. Vikings. And then when you consider the Vikings 14-24-2 against the spread after a win under Kirk Cousins, could have to come back, figure things out, keep throwing the ball. So
that's not good. That's a sneaky bad number.
44.
Say that again. Say that number.
Oh,
again.
yeah. No, Kirk Cousins, 14, the Vikings, since they've acquired Kirk Cousins, 14-24-2 against the spread after a win.
That's bad. That's like real bad. You just skated over that. That's crazy. You just that is like terrible.
Yeah, so I gave that out as the.
And I didn't even know that, and I'm thinking Jets. So.
Well, I gave that out as a fun fact for the week on the pod notes. And I did start it off by talking about that a little more, but I think this is an over spot, and I definitely lean the Jets as well. All right, it's December now. No more Ron Rivera hype train. as we
How
know.
about this?
Yep.
And I think I don't know if this is one of the games, but I mean, there's 3 totals with the same number on the board this week, 44.5. I don't know what it is about that. But I know that the Bears seem to have one of those totals. I just wanted to point that out. So if we're talking about 3 of them, they're not all going to go over. They're not all going to go under. So pick it
Right.
out. Which one's going to go over? Which one's going under? And give me the Bears on the under on the 7th week in a row. Somebody just noticed 3 games on the slate this week, same total, 44.5.
44.5. Yep. All right. Ron Rivera, we know how good he is in November. 26-16-2 against the spread, I believe, off the top of my dome.
Well,
But it's
Sunday,
no longer November.
December
So
4th.
yeah, it's no longer December. It's no longer November. Washington is laying 2.5 points on the road at the New York Giants. Washington 4-1 against the spread is a road fave under head coach Ron Rivera. What do you think about this game laying 2.5? The commies are at the New York Giants.
I think Brian Ballsy Dable is a good football coach. I think the Giants have kind of regressed, I would say, in the past couple of weeks. Obviously, not a great showing on Thanksgiving, allowing the Cowboys to score 21 points in a row or consecutively or however, whatever the word is. But I'm still a believer in this Giants football team, and I honestly am more of a believer in them than I am in the Commanders, specifically on the road. But I mean, I'm just going to be real. That minus 2.5 has been covering on the road this year. I see some places it's already down to 2. Giants 8-3 ATS this year, so I think a lot of people are going to ride with that fact. But like I said, I mean, that 2.5 has not been friendly to a home team. So I'd be kind of hesitant to get in front of that train, and obviously the momentum that the Commanders have. So that'll be a game time decision for me, but I will definitely have some action on this game. Just knowing how I operate and knowing how I handicap lines underneath, 7 or less. I usually prioritize those lines, and I expect to do that here with a line of 2.5, 2 right now at some places. So lean Giants.
Yeah, 2.5 plus the points covered for me on the road last week.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is we're laying the 2.5 on the road here with the Comets. I definitely lean towards the Giants in this spot. Motivational P, it's late in the season. Giants still have a shot. Obviously, it's the last month of the season, and you have to win. You lost a few in a row. Backs against the wall. I got a division dog here catching points. I think the Commies are all right, but Taylor Heineke's he doesn't, make me like go.
I mean, and how many more games is this guy going to cover consecutively?
Exactly, and then the Commies.
This guy continues to cover. He's a cover machine. Probably one of the most cash cows in the pro football right now.
Washington laid this exact 2.5 2 weeks ago at the Houston Texans. And we see how bad Houston is, right? I just think this line isn't accurate. They're saying the Giants.
Okay, but I just want to slow you down there. That's not that 2.5 is probably where it closed at, but that's not where most people got action on that game.
I mean, where'd they get action? It was 2.5 all week.
That line was like a 3.5 all week.
It got down to 2.5. That line was 2.5 all week.
Bro,
I think they were coming.
I know that line was 3.5 because that was the same week that we played the week after we played the Packers.
Wrong. That line was 2 all week, 2.5, and it closed at 3. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, they're basically saying that it's not Houston in week 13, but Houston in week 11 were the exact same now as the Giants are in week 13. A hungry Giants team with a fucking serious coach, bro. Like, this guy screaming and yelling. He's on your ass all week. There's no way I can lay the points here in the division on the road. I'm going to take the Giants plus the 2.5 points. Possible best bet for me. There's no doubt about it. I got to take the Giants here. So, yeah, I like the Giants. Eagles.
Yeah, okay.
Eagles are laying 4.5 at home. Look at it with 6.5. Eagles, the total 44.5, another one we talked about. But the Eagles 7-1-1 against the spread as a home fave under head coach Nick Sirianni. Titans obviously coming off that loss last week, 14-9 against the spread as a road dog under head coach Mike Vrabel. Ron, what do you think about this game?
The Titans. Do we have to do this game? I mean, 4.5 Titans. It seems like a spot in which I would love to not play them, but actually, this is a spot where I would lean Titans, and I would probably lose, and just have everything confirmed as to why I go in on the Titans weekly, and then it would be the week that I play them and they lose. I don't know anything about what they are trying to do offensively. Ryan Tannehill's ankle is banged up. It's been hurt for weeks. That's a lot of his game as the quarterback. So hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, throwing the ball deep to Trayvon Burks every couple of weeks, trying to get those chunk plays. I don't know if that's sustainable against a explosive offense in the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the one way that the Titans could stay in this game is another one of those totals of 44.5. Is control clock, run football, and slow them down. And we've seen that the game in which the Eagles weren't able to stop the Commanders this year, the Commanders were able to slow the game down, chew clock, and run the ball. So I think, if they can have some success with that and Henry can get going early there at 1 p.m. on the road, I think the Titans can have a chance catching that weird 4.5. Books don't seem to give hooks for free, especially on the road. So that's why I'd be hesitant to play the Titans. I don't think this line closes at 4.5. I think it closes at 3.5. So I think if you like the Titans now, you can get down on them at a better number. It's a lean Titans for me. But I don't really know. I can't really explain how they're going to be able to do it offensively. Like I said, Tannehill's hurt, Henry and Burks. I mean, I don't know if that's enough against Philly. If I would play the Titans, it would really just because of this line. But the Eagles are clearly the better team. I think the Titans suck. I've been saying it for years. So like I said, if I was to play the Titans, it would be because I'd be catching that flat 4 or something like that. Eagles are clearly the better team though. So no, definitive bet for me on this.
Yeah, I have a like on the Titans plus the 4.5 points. Possible best bet for me. I think that the Eagles, while I say they are 7-1-1 against the spread, is a home fave. Best bet last week for me on the podcast. The Eagles were, but I think this is a spot where you kind of want to fade them. Look, we saw cracks in our armor last week, right, Roman? You were like, you wasn't feeling it, and then come game time, we saw chinks in the armor. This team is not a team that, and we saw AJ Dillon. I think the real reason why the Packers lost that game is the same reason why I lost the bet, maybe like in week 8 or so. I had Aaron Jones to get at least 40 rushing yards. You remember that? Ego involved. They were averaging about 6 yards per carry against the Eagles. Would stop running the ball, wanted to throw it. So we know this Titans team will not do that. They won a ground and pound. Mike Vrabel, one of the best head coaches against the spread. 14-9 against the spread is a road dog. 15-10-1 after a loss. And how about this? Eagles just 9-8-1 against the spread after a win under head coach Nick Sirianni. Not as sharp. You want to run the ball against this team. So I like the Texans plus the 4.5.
Titans.
Titans rather. Yeah, I don't like the Texans, man. Fuck the Texans. But yeah, I like the plus the 4.5 points here. I think it's like I said, I rarely want to fade. I never want to fade Vrabel. I faded him last week. I said I think the Cincinnati was a side. But yeah, the Titans here, I think they're gonna win outright. All right. Next game on the board, Broncos catching 8.5 at the Ravens. Total of 39.
I don't have anything for this game.
All right. I lean towards the over. Maybe the Broncos team total over. The Ravens give it up. I think this is the spot where you may see, because you can't run on the Ravens. I think this is the spot you're gonna see a Russell Wilson be able to throw the ball downfield a little bit. So I lean towards the Broncos team total over, but not a play right now. But Chiefs are -2 at the Bengals. Total of 53.
Yeah.
Bro, talk to me how you feel about this game. Let me give some stats though, real quick. Chiefs just 31-31 against the spread after a win under Mahomes. Bengals 25-16-1 against the spread non-division games under head coach Zach Taylor. Rome, how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, this line is actually 1.5 on Chris, 1.5 10 on both sides, and I think that's pretty telling this early on in the week. I think that actually is the right side. I'm not rushing to the counter to bet Chiefs here. I know what the Bengals did. I know people could see this as a revenge spot, but I actually leave Bengals here. I think this would be obviously the game of the week. And I think this is the game here where the Bengals are either going to have to shit or get off the stool in terms of what they're going to be able to do offensively here down the stretch. I think last week was a good inclination of what they could do, getting T. Higgins involved. Joe Burrow still kind of having to make things that happen in the pocket. So if Chris Jones and those guys can get to him on the pass rush, that could be an issue. So I think this is going to be a very interesting week for the Bengals offense. I think their defense is the best thing out right now in terms of the units. Defense only gave up 16 last week. I know they gave up 30 to Pittsburgh, but this is a defense that's been pretty stout, and I look for them to kind of hold Kansas City to similar to what they were able to do last year. So give me the Bengals at home catching the 1.5, and it kind of goes back to the fact that 1.5 has not really been covering this year on the road. We've seen it cover at home. I think historically I've seen it cover on the road, but this year I haven't seen that. Like I said, I'm seeing 1.5 right now on the board. I'll lean Bengals.
Yeah. For me, this is I'll make it a best bet for sure because I think I'm gonna have at least two. But this was definitely a best bet for me. I like the Kansas City Chiefs in the first half, and let me tell you why. So I kind of wanted you to go first as I was looking through Kansas City in the first half this season. And I've gotten to week 8. Well, this is week 8. They had a bye, I believe. Yeah, I'm looking week 9. But yeah, they only didn't cover one of those. So I mean, they're in the lead in these games, 90% of the time. Well, they didn't. It was another one against the Titans as well. So I'll put that out there. But this is really a play against the Bengals. The Bengals have been so good, and there's a lot talked about their defensive coordinator, their adjustments in the second half. This entire year, as well as the second half of last year, the Bengals at one point were not allowing any points in the second half, any touchdowns rather through the first 6 or 7 weeks. No touchdowns allowed in the second half. So their adjustments in the second half speaks volumes. But then I got a Kansas City team who also knows how to get out in front of a team and with revenge on their mind. And how did they lose the last 2 games against this team in the playoffs and the regular season? They were ahead in the first half, and then the second half come back by the Bengals with the defensive adjustments. I really like this is the best bet by me. Kansas City first half. I get you can take the money line and lay -1, 115, 120. So I like Kansas City in the first half. I would suggest the money line though. Why lay a point when you get the money line that cheap? So Kansas City first half money line is my best bet, and we'll see if I have another one for this slate. But yeah, I really wanted to fade Cincinnati in the first half, and then looking through Kansas City's first half stats as well, it aligns. So yeah, we're gonna take Kansas City in the first half.
Yeah, you're convincing. I'll tell you that.
All right. That was my play though. That was the one I was feeling the very most, and then but it's obviously more full lines that we got to get to. All right, let's finish off the slate. Raiders. Is this your squad anymore? Who knows? Raiders laying 1.
They're losing
against the Chargers, total of 50.5. Must be noted, Herbert 10-6 against the spread in the division versus the AFC West. Look ahead with Chargers -3. Raiders laying a point now, total of 50.5. Ron, what do you think?
I think this game has the possibility of going under. I think this could be one of those old school AFC West games, and I know that we saw 74 points in Seattle against the Raiders last week, but and we know that the Chargers run defense isn't that great either. So, while I do think, these offenses have been explosive, I think the Raiders are going to try to, keep it on the ground. We're not sure of Derek Carr's health this week. So we'll see, what they bring to the table. But, these are 2 teams that have been able to score points. So I just think this total is suspiciously low. Like I said, 74 points scored between the Raiders and Seahawks last week. And then the Chargers, they had 49 points scored between them and the Cardinals last week as well. So 57 the week prior for the Chargers. So, just a lot of high scoring games in both of these 2 teams passed and such a low total. Like I said, 50.5 just seems a little low. They did play earlier this year though. Final score was week 1, 24-19 Chargers. So just a little bit short of the mark there on the total, but that total is 52.5. So total coming down with higher scoring results in the most recent game seems interesting to me. Just a lean on the under here.
All right, and I kind of forgot what game we were talking about, but it is the Raiders Chargers total 50 now. I was looking ahead to the Sunday night game, as I think something you and I talked about, and we probably got to play it this week because I think it'll be beneficial. But we'll get there. I really have nothing for this game. Lean with the Chargers because the line has moved so much, and my man has been money Justin Herbert against the spread in division games. So I'll just leave it at that. But I probably won't be playing this. But I should note, Chargers are one of the worst teams in the second half since Justin Herbert has been drafted. It's been money to fade them. Last week, that was not the case. Although I did get that plus 3.5 on those Cardinals. Shout out to you, Rome. But yeah, so I think if you look, Raiders in the second half could definitely be a pretty good play, especially if the Chargers are up. But all right, last game on the board for us. Colts are at the Cowboys. Oh, no, not the last game. I'm sorry. The Dolphins are at the 49ers, total of 46.5. 49ers land the 4 points.
Okay, 4 points. I see it at 3.5 at some shops.
3.5 at some shops, 4 some places. So however you want to get it. 49ers 11-16-1 against the spread as a home fave under head coach Kyle Shanahan. That's not too good. 5 games under 500. Ron, what do you think about this game?
Another potential game of the week here. Dolphins are for real. I think it's going to be another one of those kind of low-scoring games. Total of 46.5. I think two teams are going to try and feel each other out early on. They obviously know each other in terms of system, so they're kind of going to be playing cat and mouse offensively. Kind of underwhelming performance this past week against New Orleans, coming back from Mexico, had the 49ers, but that was kind of expected. Like I said, going to Mexico, coming back home, playing the game within 7 days at home, that was a lot. They do shut out the Saints at home 13-0, so expect them to kind of wake up more this week. Dolphins flying across country. Who knows how that's going to be? It's going to be their first road game in 3 weeks. So this is a lean 49ers for me. I just think, the teacher and the tutor. You take a road rookie head coach. I don't care how impressive the Dolphins have looked all year. Tyreek Hill, great. Tua, great. McDaniels, still a rookie coach, going on the road here against, like I said, his teacher in Shanahan. So I look for the 49ers to kind of make their statement known on the NFC West this week, kind of take control of that division with this win out of conference. I think this is one of those games that could easily slip by, and it's the difference between 13-4 finish or, a 12-5 finish. So kind of just get this done, take care of business, laying 3.5 here, lean 49ers.
All right, yeah, I'm indifferent about this game. It's a popcorn game for me. I don't really think I'm going to be invested in this one. But last game on the board, as you see, I'm just kind of getting excited about it. Colts at the Cowboys. Cowboys laying 10.5, total of 44.5. Ron, let me know what you think about this game, and then I'll kind of get into something we talked about last week.
I'm just curious what we talked about. I don't really have much for this game right now.
I don't really have much for this game either. I should know.
What?
No. I got the we'll get into that. The Cowboys, though, should be noted, just 21-23 against the spread as a home fave since drafting Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott. 36-27-1 against the spread after a win, however. But all right, we talked about recently. Remember, Houston played Washington a couple weeks ago. I was on Brian Robinson's rushing yards over. And then we saw that he had much less carries than he has, just typically lately. As we saw last week, he had over 100 yards rushing. Brian Robinson Jr., I'm talking about the Washington Commanders. And we talked about those running backs. They get a lot of carries on Monday Night Football. How do they do the following week? Mm-hmm. I'm going through a lot of the stats. I can't really give out a play here. There's a lot more work to be done. It's only Thursday. But I'm seeing most of those guys got less carries the following week as they, it's obviously a short week. Just play Monday. Got to, start training, getting, physically back on Tuesday rather than Monday for most teams. Mm-hmm. So we see those running backs do get a slight less carry percentage. And then also, I mean, their yardage has not been that great. Maybe there's a couple of anomalies. Jeff Wilson Jr. Was one of them in that 49ers run offense, which we know is just crazy. But should be noted that we might want to play the Jonathan Taylor under, as he's coming off 20 rushing attempts last week, Monday night.
Okay.
They kind of leaned on him. So I'll do some more homework on that, but I did wanted to note that before we
Who's
got
to say they don't lean on him again? I mean, Jeff Saturday might not even know better.
That's fair. That's why it's not a play officially, but I did wanted to point that out for our listeners. All right, Rome, we officially got best bets. I'm taking Chiefs first half money line. You are taking the Bears total.
Bears under 44.5. Best bet.
There it is. Best bets from us and tease me picks. Rome, tease me picks. Let me start.
I'll tease the Jets up. And then I'll it has to be coupled with something, huh? You and these damn teasers. I'll tease the Jets up. And I'll tease the Jets and the Giants. Why not? Make it a New York teaser.
Ooh, I like that. I like the New York teasers. We might gotta actually play that. We might, because I haven't played teasers in a while. But I also too was gonna go with the Giants. As I can get that up to 8.5. And I feel like Tennessee, man. I gotta play that straight, man. I don't need to be teasing it. So what I will tease is I will tease the Denver Broncos up to 15.5. Give me, hold up, 9 + 6. Yep, 15.5. I'll tease the Denver Broncos up as well. So that'll be my two teams, Giants and Broncos. And you know what? Another best bet for me, Tennessee Titans +4.5. I gotta go with my gut there. I think that's definitely a good play. I'll get more into it. But yeah, that's two best bets for me. So yeah, that's why you gotta listen to the end, people. Appreciate everybody for listening, tuning in this week, watching, and we keep getting it in, man. It's more to do, bro. It's more to go. It's more opportunities, and I'll have more news on that in the future. But appreciate y'all. Week 13, we'll be back next week. Week 14, I believe, with the whole core 4. So shout out to that. And yeah, see y'all soon.
Roll Tide.